Hello everyone, and welcome back to a sip of coffee online with When India. Last 1.5 years has been quite challenging, and especially if we talk about COVID 19 in 2021, it had affected many. As many people say now, it seems it had affected each and every family, each and every household now. Being positive, COVID 19 positive became the biggest negative in past 1.5 years. Yes, we are focusing on financial losses, emotional troubles, but in all these troubles, sometimes we can hear people who recovered too. So let's keep the positive word positive and talk to our two participants today who fought COVID 19. And they say, yes, I am a COVID 19 survivor. Our first participant is Lorraine Lourenco, corporate training specialist, voiceover artist, poetess, avid traveler, anchor, and brand ambassador for Plus Size. Have been awarded as an Achiever Women Empowerment 2021. And our second participant is Mr. Abdul Jalil, founder and CEO of a startup company that innovated chocolate for iron deficiency, VChalk, with a mission. So let me add our participants to the show. We have Lorraine with us. Abdul has not joined till now, so we'll see whenever he joins, we can add him to the show. Yes, Lorraine, how are you?
Hi there, good evening. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and I'm very happy to have you on the show. And I'm
It's my
sure
pleasure as
listening
well
to
to be on the
you,
show.
many will be able to relate to you also, because there will be many who have recovered from COVID-19. So
That's
I have
correct.
given your small introduction to our viewers already. But is there anything you would like to add up from your side about yourself?
Sure, definitely. Vandita, first and foremost, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on your show with When India. And one important thing that I'd just like to add about me is that I'm not from Bangalore. I'm a small town Goan girl from Goa. And staying in Bangalore because I work for a corporate giant in Bangalore. So, being COVID positive and living alone is not a very easy task. And I'm so glad that you brought me on the show today because I can go ahead and talk to many of us out here who are not from Bangalore, but living in Bangalore because of work and getting that, that positive result, which is so scary. And how do we go about it? So thank you for letting me be part of your show.
Pleasure is ours. We will like to hear from you. So, still, Abdul has not joined. So, let me just take the session forward with you only. And so, I like to hear from
Sure.
how, if you remember, how you got affected with COVID 19 or how you came to know, and how was your experience with it?
Sure,
Why you
Vandita.
went for the
So
test or
actually, to be
something?
very frank, yes. To be very frank, you'd never really know how you get COVID, because COVID, they say, is an airborne, problem, airborne disease, airborne infection. So I used to use a lot of public transport. So that could have been one of the reasons why I got COVID. I'm not really sure. And you can catch COVID also from people who already are affected because many people don't really talk about it because of the stigma associated with COVID. They're scared to tell, that I have COVID or
Absolutely
I'm
correct.
COVID positive because people get scared. So what happened was I had this cold,
Hmm.
a normal cold, which was a flu, and I started getting body ache and fever. And I thought this is just a normal flu; it will go off in a couple of days. But then it did not go, and my body felt really, really weak. So that's when I realized that there is
Hmm.
some problem here, and immediately I contacted the doctor via one of the online apps called Practo. I connected with Practo and I connected with the
Okay.
doctor online and I told him these are my symptoms. And the best part was the doctor did not lose time. He just said, go ahead and get yourself treated for COVID. Because right now, the problem that Bangalore was facing in those days were the number of tests was so high that you were getting your results after 4 or 5 days. So instead of waiting for that,
Oh.
it's better that we start you on
Hmm.
the COVID medication. So at least we can, save you that time. So there's no problem for you tomorrow. And I took his advice. I started the COVID medication, and praise God, I'm out of it now, thanks to that doctor.
Good. Yeah, even I have heard that the weakness what we are getting with COVID, you cannot compare it to any other weakness you ever had. Is it so?
I agree. I agree, Vandita, because the weakness that you have with COVID is, I'm a person who's very energetic because being in the training industry, I'm full of energy and I am like an energy ball. And suddenly getting COVID and being
Mm.
struck with it and just feeling like just sleeping, even to eat
Mm.
one idli used to be so tough for me. I remember those days. It was very tough. And the worst part is sometimes some people, when they get to know that you have COVID, they distance themselves away from you. They get scared. They're like, oh my God,
Mm.
this person has COVID, let us run away from this person. They're not really there to help you out. So you need to fend for yourself, and it is a fact, when a person has COVID, they have to distance themselves, they have to isolate themselves. And when you're really tired and you're really weak, and even to get yourself a glass of water, it becomes such a big task,
Mm.
but you have to
Mm.
have that will, you have to have that zeal in you to tell yourself, what, I'm going to overcome this, and you can overcome this. It's all about how you,
Mm.
take your medicines on time and get treated on time. That's very, very important. And listen to your doctor, because what I have encountered along the way of being a COVID positive survivor is there are a lot of people who try to become your doctor. They try to tell you, what, you do this, you do that, or you do, this kind of a, medicine. You just take this medicine, you'll be absolutely fine. But that's not what it is. You need to really consult a proper professional, a doctor. Talk to the doctor, get to know exactly what you need to do, because each person is different from the other. They could be having other issues as well, underlying issues. So you should always consult your doctor, get
Mm.
the proper medication from the doctor, get all your tablets, and my best friend those days was steam inhalation. I used to do steam inhalation at least thrice or four times a day, which really, really helped, really helped me to come out of this.
Okay.
So, yes, your
Mm.
body is very tired, your body is very weak, but as you say, it's all in the mind. If you train your mind and tell
Mm.
yourself, what, I will try my best, you can definitely overcome it.
Mm. Mm. So from you, what I get is, though we have also felt it, that it's a big stigma if we are getting COVID-19. People just don't try to, they just try to hide that. I am not sure why,
Yes,
but somewhere that mentality is still there. If somebody is COVID-19, they will just try to keep it a secret. And the second problem I see with this disease is if somebody wants to help someone, we are not able to help much because the person has to go in isolation. So what
correct.
happened was, like, previously, if somebody is sick, we used to go and meet the friends, give them some emotional support or something like that. But here, if somebody gets COVID-19, we have to just leave them alone, and maybe some physical support we can still provide by providing some other things and all. But this is a really difficult problem because when we are down, even our energy goes down, our emotional level goes down. So, what do you suggest to others about it? If somebody is suffering from COVID, how should, like you said, we have to keep ourselves with a high spirit and esteem. Anything else you will like to add up? Because it's not like friends don't want to support at times. They are not
Absolutely.
able to support
Absolutely.
also.
I agree, because I had so many of my friends who wanted to help me out, but you can't even go and hug that person. You can't even go and see the person. That's even worse. And I'm sure the
Yeah.
friends also felt really bad. But what my friends did was, and I'm really fortunate and blessed to have good friends and family. So they started sending food. They said, you know what? This time you need the energy. So let us at least send you food. So they would send food. They would come outside my
Mm.
doorstep. They would leave the packet outside my door and they would leave. So even though they were not physically with me, emotionally, mentally, they were
Mm.
there. They were at least giving some kind of support.
Mm.
And messaging,
Mm.
calling, checking up on the person. It's not necessary that you have to be
Mm.
with the person. Even if you're telling that person, you know what, I'm there for you. And very important,
Mm.
I would always advise is, if you're praying for the person, pray for the person. And make sure that, you tell the person, you know what, you will overcome this. And don't scare the person, especially when somebody is COVID positive, right? So many things are out there in the market. And then if somebody keeps talking negative about COVID, the person who's a COVID patient gets
Mm.
more negativity in their head. So you should try to
Mm.
talk everything positive to the person who's COVID positive and tell that person, you know what, you can overcome this. You have to eat this kind of food.
Mm.
Tell them something which will help them, not scare them. That is very important. And tell them the right things which they need to know, but not to be a doctor, definitely not be a doctor in their lives, but at least tell them and check on them. That's very important. At least in the morning, check and see, are you okay? Do you need something? Send some food. Like my friends, like there's this girl named Helen who connected with me after 10 years. And suddenly outside my door, there was this lovely, dabba of food, which I never been asked for.
Wow.
And I was so happy, like, there was something there. And friends just kept sending stuff, so it felt good. It felt really good. What I would suggest is don't get scared. Don't panic, because people panic. People get scared because, oh my God, we are COVID positive. And there's so much out there in the market that people get scared because reading the news. But if you take your medicines on time, if you go ahead and check with the doctor on time, you get diagnosed in time. And if you take care of yourself, don't neglect yourself, because you yourself have to take care of yourself. That's point number one. Because nobody can help you, because that is how the problem is, right? That is what COVID is. You have to isolate yourself. And always ensure, okay, yes, if I'm COVID positive, what else can I do for myself? Drink a lot of water. Water is very important. And also the oximeter is also very important. Checking your pulse counts, keeping a note of all your pulse counts at every 4 hours. That's also very important. Doing stimulation every 3 to 4 hours, very important, because that will help you. And getting and learning your body, understanding your body, understanding, okay, if I'm tired, let me not exert myself, If I'm tired, if I need to sleep, I will sleep. Let me sleep. But forcing yourself to eat something because you're on heavy medication. So you have to eat something, you have to push yourself forward. And I think that should work. That should definitely work.
Okay. So yes, I also understand that a lot of people have suggested that losing time is the biggest mistake in it. If you delay, you try to keep a check of your immune system, you try to test your immune system, and you lose some time over it, then is the problem. Then is when it increases and sometimes goes out of hand also. So we should not lose time. We should not take it light as a flu. If we feel anything, then we should consult the doctor. This is no time to check your immune system.
Absolutely.
And strength
the
of your
reason why I
body.
say that, yes, the reason why I also say that, Vandita, is because right now you don't get the results immediately, the test results, you don't get it immediately. So waiting for the test results, like I did my test result, and on the day I was feeling sick, and you have to wait at least for a couple of days. And on the third day is when the doctor tells you to go and do your COVID test. So when you do your COVID test, it takes at least
already
3 to 4 days for you to get your results. Or might even those days it took me a week to get my results. So I was diagnosed COVID positive in
initial
April.
3 days and the result 2-3 days. So it's already
Yes,
5-6 days gone.
Yes. So if a person waits till the result comes out and then takes the medication, it can be very, very, a problem for that person. So instead of that, if you have symptoms and the doctor's telling you, what your symptoms are very close to what COVID is, take the medicine, start the medicine on time, drink a lot of water, keep yourself hydrated, keep checking your oxygen levels, very important, and keep doing steam. That is very, very important. And we are very lucky, Vandita, because being in Bangalore, we have a lot of these apps which are home delivery apps. Like you have your Dunzo, you have your Swiggy, and you have medicine apps, that people will actually give you the medicine. You don't even have to go to a pharmacy. So you can just order and tell them to leave it outside your doorstep. So that means minimal contact also with your pharmacy or with somebody who can get in touch with you. So you can get your medicines online. You can get your food also online. So luckily for us, the government still kept those services running. So being alone was difficult, but praise the Lord. And luckily we had these essential services running. So for me, it wasn't tough to get the medicines. And even if there was a medicine that was not available, I would just tell few of my friends, you know what, I'm not able to get this medicine. And, I had friends like Arun and Abhinav. They would immediately get onto the, different medical stores, find out where this medicine is available. Another friend of mine, Kavita, they would get into the, to these pharmacists, call those people up and get that medicine delivered to me. So you need to have friends. You should not, seclude yourself so much. Let them know. And definitely people want to help you. And there's one more thing, Vandita, which I want to also discuss. You also get food, which is available. There is sometimes you get free food also for COVID positive patients. So there's a lot of
There are
stuff
many
which is
people who
available
are
in the
doing
market.
that.
Yes. And many volunteers who have come forward to help, especially people, they want you, they'll give you food. Some people will ask you to pay only for the food to be delivered to your house. But apart from that, there was one person who used to deliver food to me every day for till till I told him, I don't need food now. I'm fine. Please give this food to somebody who
Wow.
needs it. So there are people who
Wow,
are there
that's
to
great.
help. There are people to help,
Hmm.
and you just need to seek that assistance. And one thing is, don't be proud, or don't be like, oh my God, I have got COVID, I won't tell anybody. No, people want to help. It's not like people don't want to help.
Hmm.
They want to help.
Hmm.
So be humble,
Hmm.
be there, and there
Hmm.
are people, and very simple food, just rice, dal,
Hmm.
and one sabji, that's more than enough, and maybe one boiled egg, that's more than enough to help you, to get that energy back.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that
So
really
I have
works.
one question. Yeah, I have one question coming in. Uh, do washing utensils don't drain your energy? Uh, Actually, the question is little long. If your friends are dropping the food to you and you have to wash the utensils, do they it drain your energy?
Good question,
I think,
Vandita, but yes, most of my friends, what
yeah.
they did was they used to send food in the use and throw containers, the plastic containers.
Mm,
So I didn't have to wash it.
mm,
So I would just take the food,
mm,
keep it in one plate, take the food from there and have it, and then
mm,
keep those containers aside and dispose those containers.
uh,
And it's always better that you dispose the containers, not immediately, because being a COVID positive patient, you could also leave some,
mm.
germs on the
Yeah, yeah.
utensils, on that particular plastic containers or use
Mm,
and throw containers. Keep it aside, keep it in
mm,
a green cover or green plastic bag. Ensure it is washed, and only after 30 days, when you're completely fine and you have, sanitized the entire place, then dispose your stuff. Don't dispose immediately, because anybody else who's getting in
oh,
contact with you,
okay.
I mean, for example, these garbage
Mm,
people who pick up the garbage, it's not their fault. They will touch
correct.
whatever, like, used
Uh,
mask, for people who are COVID positive. If you drop your vessels outside and keep it,
yes.
these people will touch it by mistake and they will not know. So at least keep them in mind, and then keep it
Mm,
in one corner of the room, and take it after you sanitize
mm,
it. Only then you dispose of it. That's important. And, friends know. They
I,
know, even the people who are dropping the
mm,
food, the people, who are giving food, the free service, they were also giving it in covers, plastic covers, disposable, biodegradable covers, which is very easy for you to just
mm,
get rid of it, biodegradable. So you're
mm,
not even ruining the environment, you're taking care of everything.
mm, mm. And I think people who have the family members who are infected with COVID, they also suggest the same. They don't use the
Yes,
washable utensils, use the disposable ones.
yes,
But
very
that's a good
important, very,
question.
very
So one of
important.
our viewer was asking about it. So
Yes.
I got one more. If any of your friends or neighbors made you feel that they are trying to avoid you.
Not necessary. I think everybody knows now what COVID is all about, right? And people are
Uh,
actually more supportive when they get to know, what this person has. Let us at least try to see how we can help. So I think I'm blessed
mm,
that I have neighbors, good neighbors like that, and good friends like that.
mm,
So it depends on person to
mm,
person again. Some people will want to run away from you. Some people want to support you. I know people who are like, really, there is something called as COVID. Does it really exist? People don't even, they
mm.
still feel that COVID is, not non-existent.
Yes,
So that is something which people need to
correct,
get out
correct.
of their minds.
They
COVID
are
is
still in
there.
denial stage and nothing like that has
Yes.
happened.
Yes. They feel it's just a joke, but it's not a joke, because I have been through it. There are so many of
Yeah.
my friends who have been through it. I know colleagues who have been through it. I have, people who
Mm,
have lost their lives to it. So it's all about you. It's all about, take care of yourself. It's very important. Yes, we have to depend on others, but
mm,
how much you can depend
mm,
on yourself, try to take that mainly. Try to depend more on yourself.
mm,
And
mm.
luckily for me, I had good people around me. So no problem.
Yeah, I heard already a few names you took of your friends who were really helping you well.
Yes.
And I think if we cannot help them, at least, as you suggested, at least keep them in contact. So they feel
Yes,
that if there is something they need, they can at least reach back to someone. There is someone who they can reach back. This is the
absolutely. Like
same
I
thing
had
what
this.
we also face when we were trying to do the donation drive and we were trying to help people. There were some people which were from, I'll say, lower middle class, good middle class, but because of the situation, they lost their jobs and all, and they were not able to come up in open and ask for help. Then what if
Correct.
we come and ask for help? What will our neighbors say about it? So somewhere we saw that problem also, that they were like, okay, you want to donate us, but do it in some different way. People should not know that you are helping us. So from When India, we have tried to do that also. So I'll just, on this platform, I'll just say that if any of your neighbor, any of your friend is suffering from COVID, or they are suffering from any financial trouble, just let them feel that you are there to help them. Don't make them feel that they are alone. I think you will agree to me, Lauren.
I agree, Vandita. And to be very frank, I have had friends. I mean, I have friends who used to call me every day and check on me, and especially the doctors. They also understand what a person is going through, what the patient is going through. So, just connecting with the doctor, letting the doctor know what is your daily progress, and friends like Chanu and another friend of mine, Vivek, calling me, getting to know how things are going, how things are progressing, checking up on me every day. My mother calling me because I'm all alone in
Mm,
Bangalore and my family's in Goa.
mm,
And they were so scared, how is she going to, because when you're COVID positive, you can't even travel back home. You can't go. You have to be within that
correct.
4 walls for
Mm,
16 to 20 days, depending on how you come out of it.
mm,
So it's very tough. It's very tough. But then
mm,
having support, and knowing people are there for you, that helps you more. And if people can do that, and people can
mm,
tell others, we are there, not maybe they can't be there physically because you have to be isolated, but at least a message, a text telling them, we are praying for you, that also works wonders, and that really really
mm.
helps.
Yes, yes. So after you have been through COVID and you told that you had a lot of weakness and all, so how you made that emotional and physical comeback after COVID-19?
Very good question, Vandita. To be very frank, for 30 days after I got out of COVID, I was still suffering from breathlessness. I still had breathing problems. But then I told myself, I have to start walking. I have to walk. I have to be the person I was before I got COVID. I started training my mind, started
Mhm,
walking for 10 minutes every day. First, I started walking for 2 minutes. Even 2 minutes, I couldn't walk without having a breathing problem. I started gasping for breath. Then I increased it to 5 minutes, increased it to 10 minutes, increased it to 15 minutes. Then I started watching motivational videos. I started listening to people. I started talking to friends, especially my mom who kept calling me. I started listening to, videos that is more about, COVID survivors and how they've come out of it. And, and it is
mm,
common. People will have either breathlessness, or they will have fatigue, or they'll have tiredness, or, there's certain other things
mm,
also that people will suffer from, which are after effects. And friends of mine who
mm,
went through COVID, they started messaging me and telling me, what, even for 30 days, even I had this problem. Don't worry, you will come out of it. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
mm,
Positivity,
mm,
support, telling you,
mm.
what, we
Yes,
have gone
positivity.
through, we
Yeah.
have come out of it, we are here, we are fine now. So it will take you time.
Mm,
You will also come out of it.
mm,
So that really helped me. So when
mm.
you told me, Vandita, about this platform,
Nice.
talking to people and telling people, when I'm a COVID positive survivor, talking to people and telling them, you can also fight it. Anybody out there who's getting, or anything of that sort, don't think in your head, all is lost. That's when you have already accepted
Mm,
defeat. Don't be defeated. But very
mm,
important, wear your
mm,
mask, sanitize, always ensure that you step out of the house only if required. If it's not required, don't step out of the house. Ensure that you're getting most of your stuff delivered to your house, and ensure that
mm,
you have minimal contact, with anybody. So try to keep that
mm,
distancing. That's very
mm,
important. For me,
mm,
I really don't know how I caught it. It could have been the public transport that I was using to go from A to B, whatever it is. I don't want to blame
mm,
any particular thing
mm,
or any particular person, but I'm just saying, if anybody gets it, first important thing is get yourself
mm,
diagnosed in time, on time rather.
mm,
Start taking the medication
mm,
and start taking care of yourself. And start telling yourself, what, I
mm,
can really work this out. Because every time you see the numbers of COVID in India, right? Most of the time, if we concentrate on
mm,
number
mm,
of deaths and the number of people active, we are again putting ourselves down. Again, we're
mm,
thinking negative. But if you look at the number of recovered
mm,
cases, and the
mm,
number of
mm.
recovered cases and the percentage that is improving at, that can at least help
Mm.
us in thinking of it in a
Help us.
much
Yeah.
better, yeah, way, and at least help us to come out of it.
Mm. Years back I suffered from dengue, and one of the most strange question which I was asked was, did a mosquito bite you? And I was like, is that a big deal that I will remember it whether the mosquito bit me or not? So this is the same thing when we go for COVID, that if people ask, like I also asked you, do you remember how you got it? But it's just a flu. We cannot say that this flu is because of the weather
Yes,
or it is because of COVID. So it's only the
correct,
symptoms what we have to keep an eye on.
correct. Absolutely.
So today you are on a stage of when. So you will like to say anything to our viewers? Anything you will like? What I have not asked you, but you will like to share anything?
Of course, Vandita, I would love to tell everybody that please be safe, stay home as much as you can, keep yourself sanitized, always ensure that you wash your hands after you come from outside, and never accept defeat. The moment you accept defeat is when the battle is lost. Don't accept defeat, and ensure that if you have any symptoms of COVID, ensure that you get diagnosed or connect with your doctor. We have several online applications. Connect online with a doctor. You don't have to physically go and meet the doctor. Connect with the doctor,
Mm.
get to know what it is, and start your medication on time. That's very, very important. And if you know anyone who's suffering from COVID, at least be there as a support. Don't make that person get more scared that the person has got COVID, and don't try to be a doctor if that person is not qualified. Just be there to support that person
Mm.
and pray for that person. Very, very, very important.
Mm. Correct. Thank you so much, Lorraine, for joining us today and sharing your experiences with our viewers. And as we come towards the end of the session, I will like to say that today we have talked to COVID 19 survivor Lorraine. And while we were trying to get to the people who have survived COVID, we got contacted by many people who have lost somebody in their family due to COVID. And with their suggestion and on their request, we are coming up with a session with Divya Madhur on 26th July at 4 p.m. And we will be talking about how to cope up with the loss of someone. Thank you all for joining us today. And Laureen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Vandita,
and take
and
care.
more power to you. Take care. Bye bye.